today we have a very special guest. We have Antoine here. Antoine, appreciate you coming out.
Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, no problem. So for our listeners and our viewers, Antoine, if you can just give us a little background of what you're doing today, and what are your businesses, just to give the audience a little intro.
So my name is Antoine.
Right.
I'm originally from Belgium,
Okay.
where I born and raised over there. Then I come from like a very like classic background. Like everybody in my family have like a huge background of university, doctors, lawyers, stuff like that. And I was just like not feeling like in that kind of situation. So early in my day, I feel like I was needed to do something else. So my parent was not very supportive with my creativity ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I was like more set to have like a very like classic background for school, university, getting a job and everything. But I was not feeling like doing that. So when I was like around 15 years old, I believe, I used to have the crazy idea that I want to become a mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
For my parent was like no.
Yeah.
Like no way. You will be doctor, engineer, whatever you want, but no car mechanic. So I decided to do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you're kids, your parents they give you like a little bit money every week to
Yeah.
have like some fun with your friend and everything. So I was like keeping that, and I decided to go to Germany by myself, buy the newspaper, and I went over there to buy like all the Beatles.
Mm-hmm.
So I drive back to Belgium with that Beatles. Then after I sell that Beatles.
Yeah.
Then after I get back to Germany and I go so on, so on, so on. After years, I used to have like my own garage with around like 40 Beatles inside.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
So that is a little bit like how I start my journey. Then after I continued to study because I was like needed to continue to the school.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was in my last year of high school, I was supposed to have like a scientific background.
Mm-hmm.
And I changed school just at that moment in Paris.
Yeah.
And I discovered art.
Okay.
Then in the last minute, without saying nothing to my parent, I decided to switch like my background for the high school to artistic background.
Yeah.
Then I get like my high school degree with history of art.
Mm-hmm.
And then my parent was very upset with
Yeah, they're very
Yeah.
upset.
So they say, okay, now you need to do something. You need to go to university, doesn't matter, or you need to go back to high school and do the scientific degree and everything. And I was no, and I decided to apply for the Beaux-Arts in Paris.
What is
so
that?
The Beaux-Arts is like one of the biggest like art school in France.
Oh, okay.
So basically, it's like if you want to be director of museum or big
Mhm.
artist and everything,
Mhm.
everybody do that school. So
Okay.
I decided to do that school. I was pretty successful doing that. I didn't graduate because I dropped on the last year
Right.
because I went to Ibiza on vacation and for 2 weeks, and
Yeah.
then after I decided to stay over there after 2 weeks.
You went to Ibiza and then just
That's
decided
awesome.
I'm not going to school.
So
anymore.
I stay in Ibiza because I
Yeah.
fall in love with a girl and everything, and then I decide like okay, I need to do something. So I start
Mhm.
like to import cars from Belgium to Ibiza. I
Oh,
was
wow.
working in the club to promote like parties and
Right.
stuff like that. And then after one day, it's like I have a friend of mine. He say, "Oh, look, we are doing like a small championship over here. It's a race car championship. It's like
Mhm.
very something local, not very big deal and everything." And I say, "Yeah, but I never race and I don't have car and everything." He
Yeah.
say, "Oh, look, I have just a car over there. I can give you for $100 and
Right.
you can do the race." So I bought the car, went to the race, get pretty excited about that. I finished like third chrono,
Uh-huh.
and I finished second in the race.
Oh, wow.
And then after I received like a big double page in the newspaper, local newspaper, saying that I was the attraction of the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody told me like, "Oh, you have a good feeling about driving and everything. You should continue to do that and everything." And at that moment, I was like looking to upgrade, to do something different in Ibiza, because Ibiza is a small island, so
Yeah.
you go like around yourself like very easily. So I remember that my parents in France, they used to be friends with a guy that is like building like Formula 3 cars in France. So I went back to France. I went to see him. I say, okay, let me do some tests and everything. So we went to the track. I did some tests. Was not bad, not very like the best time ever, but it was not bad. So after I asked him like, okay, how much that cost to do that? So it's hard to put like some number and everything, and I was like, okay, that is like no way that I can afford to do that.
Yeah.
So at that moment, he told me like, okay, why you don't start with go-kart? And I said, what is go-kart? He said, oh, it's like a track like next to the big track. Like go over there, like try the go-kart and everything. So I went over there, I see the go-kart. I was like, wow, that is like nice. So I decided, okay, I will do that. Was pretty affordable. So I buy a used go-kart, the worst go-kart that I ever bought in my life.
Yeah.
So after everybody was laughing at me in the track because I obviously have no idea how to drive a go-kart.
Yeah.
So after that, I was like, okay, now I have two solutions. Or I drop, or I continue and I improve myself.
Right.
So I decide like, I was excited by the project. So I decide, okay, I will go on. So for 6 months, I went to the track like every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay.
After 6 months, I kicked the record of the track for 2 seconds.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So nobody was laughing at me anymore.
Yeah.
Then I did like all the race, like local race and everything that I win. And then after the winter, I decided, okay, now it's time that I do like real racing and everything. So I went to Paris to a shop and I went over there. I say, okay, I want a brand new car, brand new engine. I need a mechanic and I want to do the French championship. So the guys, he was like impressed to see my motivation. He said, okay, I will do your mechanic and everything. We went to the first race for the French championship and I finished like 8th.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Wow.
On 45 driver.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
So my mechanic was pretty impressed. We did like the whole season like that, and I finished like 4th, if I remember, from the championship. So not bad for
First
for a
time.
rookie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after, he asked me like, okay, do you want to do like one more race, like just for fun, because we will not do nothing over there. And I said, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So he bring me like to Italy for the last race of the Italian championship. And basically like all the manufacturers, they're like in Italy. So all the driver over there, they're like minimum like 5-time world champion and stuff like that. So I went to do that race and I win that race.
Wow.
So after that, the manufacturer I was running the go-kart come to me and asked me if I want to become official driver.
Yeah.
And I say, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So like during this period when you were doing the go-kart first, were you making any money doing that? Or?
No, in the beginning I was more like spending money.
Yeah, just
Right.
spending money.
When I become like official driver, then is when I start to earn money.
So you didn't make any money when you were winning, like when you won that Italian
No.
race?
No,
didn't-
you win, but basically the expense that you have
Right.
like to participate in the race,
Yeah.
what you receive for the prize that didn't cover the cost.
Oh, I gotcha.
Right.
So
But my goal was like to become a race car
Right.
driver.
To become known, right?
So at the beginning, I was spending money, not thinking about how much I was spending, but looking about what is my ultimate goal.
Right.
yeah.
And I believe like that is what push you to do your own things.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you go through, like, it was over a year,
Yeah.
right? That timeline. At those points, like, what were you thinking? You were just laser focused, or were there any questions of whether or not
yeah,
this is a good idea?
Right. Whether if I, can't
I
do
was
it.
focused, but in the same times, I was really realistic that, okay, I need to win. Because if I don't win, I will not be able to continue like year after year. Because basically in my first year, I spent like pretty much like all the money I used to have. So basically it's like if I was not getting that contract,
Yeah.
it's like probably I will have like one more year that I will be able to maybe run the show, but that's it.
Yeah.
Right.
After that, I will have like, okay, I don't have any more money. I need to do something else.
Yeah.
But I get lucky enough, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe like when you don't focus in the money to succeed, I believe that is the best way to get like motivated about what you're doing and to be focused on what is your goal.
Yeah. No, that's amazing.
Oh, that makes sense.
I-
And-
yeah. That's
No, I was gonna say just I always hear like when people have like nowhere to go except like this one direction, you will find a way to like make it work, you know. And I'm sure there's times where you thought, oh, you know, if I fail at this, like what am I gonna do? And I'm sure you
Oh,
were
yeah,
scared
yeah.
all the time, right?
We all thought about that, but
Right.
basically when you put when I was putting my helmet on, it's
Right.
like I was just focused on the race
Mhm.
and just focus on what I was doing, and then after giving me like all the best opportunities, so
Mhm.
was taking care about my food, my training, my sleep, like an athlete.
Yeah.
So it's like it's no other ways. Like when you choose to take like a direction,
Mhm.
I believe you cannot. It's normal to have doubt,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
but you cannot like drop in the middle
Right,
of what
right.
you're doing.
Mm.
If you don't, if you drop or you take like a break, you will not reach it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Mm,
for
true.
sure.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my experience about everything that you can do in life. It's like, okay, you can have like a hard time to make the decision, but when you make the decision,
Mm.
you need to go to the end.
Mm-hmm.
That
You
makes
will
sense.
have like
Yeah.
bad moments,
Right.
Yeah.
like it's not like a straight line
Right.
Uh-huh.
about where you go and always successful and
Mhm.
everything. I don't believe on that. Like the person that will come and tell you like, oh, I used to be like only successful in my life.
Right.
Mhm.
a
That's
lot.
like a lie.
No, it's a lot.
It's like we all have like moment of doubt, moments where that didn't work the way we want and everything, but that is part of the game. The things is like you need to be like focused on what is your ultimate goal,
Mm.
Yeah.
not in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because the moment you can have like a good day, a bad day, but in the end, what is the end of the journey?
Right.
That is
Yeah.
what you need to be focused on.
At what point was it when you bought the go-kart that you were like, I'm going to be a race car driver and I'm going to win championships? Was it that early, or when you actually went into the professional side that you started to think, okay?
No,
This is-
actually, I believe like when I went back to France
Mm-hmm.
to do the testing
Yeah.
with a friend of my parent, I was already have like my mindset, like
okay.
I want
Okay.
to be a race car driver. I
Yeah.
was not sure at
Uh-huh.
that point, but that is like a little bit the idea that I used to have in my head. And I believe like when I decide to become a race car driver is when I bought that first go-kart and everybody was laughing at me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So you already
Because
had it in your
because I
mind.
believe like when I get that reaction, you know, that was like not what I was
Right,
expecting.
right.
Uh-huh.
I take that like a challenge.
Challenge.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Prove
And
them
then
wrong.
after I say, okay, I will prove everybody that you're wrong.
Yeah.
Why? Because in the past I start my car business when everybody
Right,
was
said
thinking
no,
you will
yeah.
do wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and I was very successful.
Yeah.
Then after I say, okay, if I did that one time, I can do that another one.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's amazing.
pretty
So
sweet, yeah.
you were importing, exporting vehicles, then became a race car driver, and then what happened after you got the contract?
After when I get the contract, I become really very focused on be precise.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I was like very good at developing new gears and developing like the material that I
Mm.
was using.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to more than to be focused on racing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like more like attracted by the technical aspect of the
Mhm.
racing. So
Okay.
I decided to focus myself on become like a tester driver.
Okay.
So to put like, because I realized that a lot of driver was really fast, but have no idea how to set up the machine.
Mm-hmm.
But I was very good at that.
Yeah.
So I decided to focus myself at that. Why? Because it was not too many people doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like really different pressure than when you need to do rolling for world champion or
Yeah.
Right.
stuff like that. So I decided to dedicate my racing career to do that. And then I finished like at one point in US because my boss was like looking to get like more market in US.
Yeah.
So I came over here, I do some race over here, and I start like to develop like a lot of connection and everything. And after 2 years here in US, I get a $2 million deal from my manufacturer in Italy
Yeah.
to import go-kart here in US.
Wow.
So I think was not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So around that time, how old were you around that time? Just to get like a timeline.
Basically, when I start to race, I was like 26, and
Okay.
when I decide to become professional and I start my contract, I
Right.
was 28 years old.
Okay. Right.
So pretty late
Yeah.
for a career
Right.
like that, because
Yeah.
like most of the professional race car driver, they start when they're like 5 years old or 6 years
super
old.
young, right?
But I believe like when you have like the motivation and the dedication to do something, I believe is nothing that can stop you.
Right.
Right. Yeah. That's amazing. So how long were you in?
I did
this
that
ra-
for like 15 years.
15 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not. Yeah, I thought it was short. So it's
Yeah.
a long period of time. Yeah.
Yeah, because knowing the rest of your career, I didn't imagine it would be 15 years. Wow, 15
Yeah.
years. So all the way to the United States.
No,
got the
it was
tour.
like I did like only like 3 years here in the United States, and the rest of the time I was in Europe.
Okay. Yeah.
So doing a lot of tests, like not only for go-kart, but for like 24 Le Mans, for Formula One, for Formula 3 prototype, everything with 4 wheels and an engine, basically.
Yeah. And then what made you leave that industry then?
Actually, I fall in love with a girl here in US.
So first in Ibiza, you fall in love with a
Yeah.
girl there, drop out of art school, and then okay.
So I fall in love with a girl here in US, and then after I was like, okay, I'm like kind of like tired about the racing and everything. I was doing testing, I was like feeling like, okay, I want more like now like to race. I was like thinking like, okay, now it's like the end of what as an athlete I can become.
Right.
So I decided, okay, now I think it's like the right moment to give like one shot to win championship or do a race that I want to win, and nobody give me what I want. So at that point I decided like, okay, I need to do something else. And I used to have like a friend, he was living in Miami, and he used to be a racer before, and he became a DJ. So one night I went to his house, and for dinner he started to mix, and after he said, oh, you turn to mix. I said, I don't know how to mix. So he showed me like in 5 minutes. I start to mix, and I finish to mix. It was like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And then after I say, oh, that's nice. So after I start to try to practice for like 2-3 months. Then after he start to call me like, oh, can you do that gig for me, because I cannot do it and everything, and I start to doing that. And then after, when I see like the money was coming, and I say, okay, I want to do that like more professionally, so I push myself.
Yeah.
And then after, when I see that I was able to make like as much money with the music then with racing, I say, okay, now it's time to switch.
Right.
Yeah.
And I switch for racing to become a DJ.
Yeah. And then how long did you do the DJing?
I start like 8 years ago.
8 years ago?
Right.
And then was that international too, or mostly
Yeah,
in the
international. I was like playing a lot of in the Caribbean, in Europe. I used to live in Ibiza for a long time, so I used to
So you
have
had
like all the
those
connection over
connections.
there and
Yeah.
everything. Very big place for music industry. And then I decided to do a lot of gig. But in the beginning, I was not like very famous, so it's like I was not getting like a lot of pay, but I was doing like a lot of gig.
Yeah.
And then after the second years that I was doing that, I was in the Winter Music Conference in Miami, and the last day of the Winter Music Conference, I black out.
From what? Just
from
part-
exhausting.
Oh, exhaustion.
exhaustion,
Oh,
yeah.
man.
So basically, I was traveling internationally and everything. So basically, this year I used to have like 180 gigs in the year.
Yeah.
So no
Yeah,
very
right.
big gigs like you make like a lot of money, but
It's
a
a
lot
lot of
of them.
traveling.
Yeah.
And basically, my body like just shut up and say no more.
Right.
So basically, at that point, I decided like, okay, I need to do like differently.
Mhm.
So I went to see like everybody that I know in the industry, like talking about what I was looking for, and nobody backed me up
Mhm.
again. So
Yeah.
at that point, I say, you know what? I don't need you. I don't need you. I don't need you, and I will do all the things myself.
So,
Yeah.
So then I decided to create my own company, Mikrokosmic, record label.
Mhm.
Then after, obviously, when I did that, I was brand new in that kind of like industry. So I start like to do some numbers and everything. And I say, okay, record label that don't makes like any money.
Mhm.
Right.
now.
It's
Yeah.
tough, I hear.
So I say, okay, how I can start to produce like money. So I decide to create like an online store to sell gears.
Yeah.
Music gears. Then I say, okay, I figure out that like a lot of artists, they have like no idea about business.
Mhm.
So I say, okay, we will do management business
Mhm.
for artists. Then after I say, okay, booking agency, like all the booking around the world, they get like 15% commission. If you get like a few artists like making like 10 gigs a month for the good amount, you get like 15%.
Mhm.
That's a good
Yeah.
entry for the money. Then after I say, okay, a lot of people they're looking to learn music production today. So I say, okay, let's do an academy also. And then after when I was doing the numbers with all that add on,
Mhm.
there was like making sense and possibility to make money.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I just had a quick question. I just want to just kind of go back a little bit. So, but when you were like quitting the race car driving, going to DJ and all that stuff, and you know, it sounds like you had a couple careers. Like, were there ever moments where you're like, how did you just like make that transition so quickly? Were you just like, oh, no one's giving this opportunity. I had to go over there. Is that like what your mind was, or just like, oh, I'm not making money here, so I have to do this?
Actually, it's
Oh.
like just like about like what is your goal.
Right. Right.
So basically, it's like if you find that you have an idea,
Mm-hmm.
you convince yourself that that is what I want
Mhm.
to do. Then after you figure out that the industry don't want to follow you, you have two solutions at that point.
Right.
Or you drop
Mhm.
Or you
and you
just-
do something else, or you do it yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So basically, doing yourself, like obviously you put more pressure on yourself.
Mhm.
But actually, you get like 100% control of what's happening.
Right.
Mhm.
That's true.
When
Yeah.
you go like with the industry, you will work for somebody
else,
or
yeah.
with somebody that will take like a part of your money, and basically you need to follow like certain rules. You don't have like control 100% on what you do. And basically, after my blackout, I was like looking to have like something that was sustainable.
Right.
Mhm.
Because when I see like the biggest like invention, I believe like for me in the last 20 or 30 years, I believe it's like internet and cell phone.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
And I believe like that used to change like a big time the way people was doing business and the speed of the business.
Mhm.
So basically, right now, like what they ask for artists or athlete to do, nothing to do with what was in the past.
Right.
Mhm.
When you see race car driver, the famous race car driver in the history, the Formula One, the Fangio and everything, these guys, they was drinking at night. They was showing up in
Yeah.
the racetrack with a
Yeah.
cigarette
Right.
and everything, you know, was like really different lifestyle.
Mhm.
Right now, when you are like a race car driver, they didn't ask you only to do the job and
Right.
to win. They ask you to speak several language,
Right.
to be to do a lot of marketing on the
Mhm.
side, you know, to do like charity event and all the stuff. So
Yeah.
the game is like really different,
Different
and
now,
the
yeah.
amount of race that you're doing is like much more than in the past. I believe like in the beginning of Formula One, it was like only maybe like a few races a year to decide who is winning the championship. Right now it's like maybe 21, 22 races
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the year. When you see like athlete in NBA, they do like 50 plus game
Right.
per year.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
in a 8 months period.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like crazy.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm sure.
It's like really tough, and the
Yeah.
music industry is the same. In the past, you used to have like band like Rolling Stones or The Doors or Pink Floyd and everything. Basically, these guys, they was like spending like 2 years in the studio, having fun, drinking, smoking, like
Right.
doing whatever they want, creating music, and then after they was like going on tour to sell a lot of vinyl
Right, right.
or cassette or whatever. Right now, with digitalization of the industry, right now, basically, it's like when you have a deal with a record label, you need to come up with new music every month.
Right, right. That's
Yeah.
what I hear.
So the speed, and in plus, they ask you to do to be a good value on the market to have gigs. You need to do like 10 gigs minimum a month. So 10 gigs a month is like 20 plane per month.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
that's
lot of
a
time in
hotel,
a month.
Change jet lag and everything. So and in plus, you need to build new song.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like
It's a lot
how
of
it's
work.
like the people can sustain that like physically, because we're not machine, we're like human. So it's
Yeah.
like basically it's like right now like the rush of like getting like more profit, you know, for the shareholder and everything is like increasing like a lot.
Yeah. How did you learn all the marketing stuff? If you were in the racing, especially on the test driver side, and then you transitioned to become a DJ, how were you getting gigs in like the Caribbean and then all over Europe?
I believe like the most important to get opportunity is networking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Networking is like the rules number one. I believe like networking right now is like in today market is like 80% of the job. 10% is making music.
Yeah. That makes
And
sense.
10% is like doing like marketing on the side and everything. But networking is basically like the most important. And then after like my advice for anybody like that want to achieve great goal is like upgrade yourself all the time. Never stop learning.
Yeah.
So basically it's like right now we have like internet that is like amazing like for learning. It's like if I used to have that when I was kid, I used to have like break record about what I can do in one lifetime.
Yeah.
Because basically it's like right now it's like you go on YouTube, you go
Yeah.
like any
How
tutorial.
to do something,
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
find it.
You can have like podcast, you
Yeah.
can have like digital books, so you don't need to bring like a lot of books with you and everything. So it's like right now it's like I believe like if you live like in the Western country, like United States, Europe and everything, or a very developed country, you have no excuse to
Yeah.
don't upgrade yourself.
Yeah.
You need to upgrade yourself. It's the only way. It's like nobody born with like the knowledge.
Right.
So I don't become a race car driver like that. I used to spend like a lot of time like in the track, like testing, driving, reading books and everything, like why that do that, what that happen and everything. And that is the way I can improve myself. If you think like okay, I will stay in my sofa and I will just like watching TV and the knowledge will come by itself,
Yeah.
looking reality show, you know, it's like that will not happen.
Yeah.
You need to read books.
Right.
You need to learn. When you don't know something, you need to ask yourself, okay, what is that happening? Why? How I can understand what is doing that? What is doing that? And if you
Yeah.
cannot do that, it's like you will not reach your goal.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I never went to the. I don't have like an MBA in business. I just read like a lot of book. It's like basically it's like I push myself to read like one book a week.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
wow. Yeah.
That is my goal. After sometimes I can do more or less, but it's like my average is one book a month,
Yeah. That's
a
impressive.
week.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Because that is the way you can continue to learn and to improve yourself. You know, because the world is changing like so fast right now. You know that if you're not like ahead of the game, you're behind.
Yeah.
If you're behind, somebody will pass in the front of you,
Right.
and your business plan will not go.
Yeah. Yeah. So, no, that's amazing advice for all like
any
any
anything
industry.
you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe like opportunity, they're like everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You need
Right.
just to open your eyes.
Yeah.
Right. You need to see the opportunity instead of seeing problems all the time.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah, because problem it's like that is the daily
Right.
base for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe like when it's problem, I believe it's solution.
Right.
Otherwise, that will not be a problem.
Right. That's
Yes.
true.
So-
yeah, yeah.
I focus myself on seeing like okay, what can be like the next things, what will
Mhm.
come next, you know, and trying to figure out like okay, that is a good opportunity. Then after, you need as yourself to decide like okay, there is an opportunity, but
Mhm.
it is that opportunity the right moment
right.
for me to take,
Mm-hmm.
or should I try to find like another one opportunity? Because it's not only one opportunity.
Right.
Opportunity is like every day when you
Everywhere.
wake up, you go on the street, just like spend like 1 hour in the center of a city, like Times
Mhm.
Square or whatever, and you will find opportunity around you.
Mm-hmm.
After, it's just like a question to question yourself. Okay, that is the kind of opportunity that I'm looking for. That what I need to do to take that opportunity. What
Yeah.
I need to upgrade to get that opportunity accessible to me. And then after, you can figure out if it's good to you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
oh,
so kind of
go ahead.
going in back into when you were starting the record label, how long ago was that again?
Like 2 years ago.
Like 2 years ago. Okay. So all of these new businesses that you have, the three, were they all within the last 2 years, or
Yeah.
okay? And then how did that?
Actually, the last one, the Bitcoin one. This one I start like basically in the same time that I start the music.
Oh,
Okay.
got it.
Yeah.
Actually, that was by accident. It's just like he was like a guy that I know, a promoter in Miami. He introduced me to Bitcoin in
Yeah.
early 2010,
Mhm.
and actually I went to see what it was,
Right.
Mhm.
and actually I get excited about it.
Yeah.
So I started doing it, and basically that grew, and was very successful. I didn't there. I don't have like a lot of like price that I can put on
Mhm.
myself, because
Uh-huh.
basically is the ecosystem that
Right,
grew
right.
up like so fast, and I was just like
You were
lucky
there.
enough to be there at the right moment and
Mhm.
everything. But that is something that is like exciting, and I just keep going. After I decide to do my record label, because I used to have like that problem that I black out.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
And then after it's like when I was looking to have like other things, I'm like I'm very fanatic about boat,
Mhm.
and I'm very like fanatic about different way to live, because I
Mhm.
travel a lot.
Mhm.
So I guess like the way I put myself right now is like I travel everywhere. I learn different culture, and I just pick like what I like in each culture.
Mhm.
I do a
Yeah.
mixing pot with that,
Right.
and
Yeah.
that become who I am.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like I love food. So I have a lot of food that I love from Dominican Republic,
Mhm.
because I used to live over there.
Mhm.
A lot of I went to Japan several times. I love the culture over there,
Mhm.
sushi and stuff
Right.
like
Yeah.
that. So I get that, you know, and I do a mixing pot of everything when I'm cooking.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, so your record label, right? Your business. So did you kind of see immediate success right away, or has it just been some struggles and up and
Oh
down?
no, that is like it's like a big struggle
Right.
to put a record label.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, because when you decide to do a record label, it's like the complicated things is like to have like a plan, like how I will market
Mhm.
the music, because basically right now, especially in the electronic music sector, like Beatport is like one
Right,
of the
yeah,
biggest
Beatport.
platform to
Mhm.
for DJ to get music.
Okay.
And you have like basically you have like 10,000 new track like coming online every day.
Wow.
So basically, when you put yourself, okay, I will release music, I will do that. It's like you need to think like how I will market myself,
Mhm.
how I will make the difference that I can go through that 10,000 track every day, and people will pay attention to me.
Right.
Mhm.
So the process took like around like basically until now
Yeah.
to put everything together.
Mhm.
Why? Because it was like a lot of going to the conference, talking with other people in the industry, see how the industry was evolving like in the past 2 years, to see like, okay, where is the opportunity to do something different than everybody else. Because basically, if you align yourself to do exactly what the other record label do, basically it's like your chance to succeed will basically depend on how much money you put on marketing.
Yeah.
So basically at that point is like today in business is like you need to find like something that makes like you unique, like different, your brand different than everybody else.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what you will do, you will need to compete about how much money you spend in marketing. So it's very good. It's a very nice way to see things. It's like very easy. Okay, you spend $1 million on marketing. I will spend 1.5 million on marketing.
Yeah.
But after, when you do your business plan, are you sure that your investor, they will be happy with the net profit or the margin percentage that you have because you put so much money on the marketing? So it's like, I believe like right now it's like we are like facing, I believe, in my opinion, so it's like very personal opinion. It's not like something that is rock science or backup for anybody else. But I believe we are like a very challenging decade that's starting. Because of the climate change and the way that we consume and the way that everything is going with business, we need to have like a slowdown. So basically right now with technology, we start to have like a slowdown. So basically that is something that I feel comfortable with because it's like the way that everything is upgrading in the last few years was like too much.
Yeah.
It's like right now when I see like, for example, when I take the business of the Bitcoins, it's like when I start in 2010, like machine was upgrading like every 3 months.
Yeah.
Every 3 months you used to have a machine like twice performance of the next, the last generation. And until like a few years ago, the pace was non-stop like that every 3 months. So it's like basically you invest on machine that you need to come back, you need to break even before the new machine come up in the market. And right now is like the server that we're using is like they're using the 7 nanometers chip. So basically right now is like the maximum that the industry can do. They talk about the 5 nanometers to increase and everything, but actually between the 7 and the 5, it will be only 10 or 15% like increase on profitability. So I don't think that is something that makes sense. And the 5 nanometer, they're still in laboratory, so it's not already like ready to do mass production. So I believe now for the next 5 or 7 years, we will have like a stability about increasing. So basically the innovation will be more like about like how you can get a better job with that chip.
Yeah.
You know, like having like more performance but with the same chip. So basically the evolution is not the same, and the time that you need to break even and you can invest your money change totally. You know, and the same with the cell phone. Now when you see like the new iPhone, they didn't come up like with like new revolution like before. Now what they do, they increase your battery life because everybody is complaining about that, and they give you like more cameras.
Exactly.
But that's it.
That's true.
The phone don't change like so much. The same with television and stuff like that. Now we become like in really the edge of, okay, that is like the maximum that we can do. We cannot do more, or we can do more, but we need to go like slowing down.
I think technology might be preparing as an industry for the like 5G basically. The 5G capability will change.
That will change like a lot.
But I think they're waiting on that infrastructure to be who's going to pay for, especially in the United States, like who's going to pay for that infrastructure? Is that technology really there yet? So I think we're still maybe like 5 to 10 years away from 5G really interrupting anything.
No, I don't know. I think that will come like earlier than that.
Really?
Because when you see like basically it's like if you observe, you can tell what will come. For example, when you see like Tesla,
Yeah.
That is one of the best brand for innovation about electric car.
Mhm.
Like right now, if you want to lease a Tesla,
Mhm.
you don't have like option to buy in the car in the end of your lease.
Mhm.
So basically, Tesla don't want you
To keep
to sell it. They want the car back.
Yeah.
And why they want that? They want that to increase their fleet of autonomous car.
Yes. Yep.
So if they already like Tesla have that business plan that if you buy a car right now on lease 36 months,
Mhm.
they will take the car back to have like in stock for their autonomous fleet.
Mhm.
That means like the 5G will be like pretty close at the term of that.
Yeah. I think it's still why I say the time frame is like the saturation of how that technology will like really change everything. I think I'm saying 5 years, 10 years, because we need to build all of that around the United States in order for it to. We'll see little pockets,
Yeah,
right?
actually,
Like
I believe
I'm
like
sure
the,
San Francisco will
the,
be
po-
like
the pocket will
yeah.
be the cities.
Yeah.
Because basically it's like a study that said that by 2050 is like half of the population will live in city.
Mm-hmm.
So basically when you see Amazon focusing like only on big cities
Mm-hmm.
and everything is like you see like where the industry is going.
Yeah.
Everybody is like posting like for big city. Why?
Mhm.
Because when you see like the model of Amazon, like about Prime now, delivery your grocery in 2 hours, everything is really focused like on cities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why? Because when you have like a city like Manhattan with 6 million people living there in the very small superficie, it's like make your life like very easier with shipment
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and very cheap.
Yeah, actually, no, that makes perfect sense. Kind of going back to your story, during especially this period, now that you're starting a record label, because it's taken a little bit before you established everything. Before we actually kicked off this podcast, you were talking about, the doubt that every entrepreneur kind of has. Did you have any doubt? Do you still have doubts or like?
Yeah, doubt. We still always have until we reach the goal. You still with doubt. Why? Because it's like we all need money to make the show happening.
Right.
So basically, it's like you always like afraid about like, do I take the right decision? Do I do the right things? Do I will kill my cash flow? A lot of things, and after it's like a lot of things that is not depending on you. Also, like politics and stuff like that. You take decision about like, okay, what I will do next on my business, and after you figure out that the politic they make a choice that make your industry like miserable,
Right.
and that is not something that you have control on.
Yeah.
So I believe like to be afraid, it's like something that is part of the game. After it's just a question like how you manage that.
And
you know?
how do you manage it?
Managing, I believe like that is why I'm like in different industries, like because basically my dad told me like don't put all your eggs in the same basket.
Yeah.
So I believe like having like different industry that you work on, you that give you like less option. If something goes wrong with one, it's like unlikely that goes wrong with all
Other
of them.
ones, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can balance.
Yeah. How do you manage your time on all of those?
Schedule.
Yeah.
Schedule. Be strict with your schedule. I believe it's like really hard, and I believe like the most difficult is like the sleeping time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I believe like you can be like very good at what you do, but if you don't sleep enough, you will do a lot of mistake.
Yeah.
You will do. We already, when we sleep enough, do a lot of mistake.
Yeah.
So if you don't sleep enough, you will do more mistake. So I believe like, but the challenge is like how you divide like your personal life right now with your business, because basically now with the internet, the remote work and everything, basically we're working like 24/7.
Right.
So after you need to have like a discipline about like how you manage your time, like family time, like business time and everything different. Even if you work like for example, I work like half of the time in US, half of the time in Europe, so I'm with 2 time zone.
Yeah.
So it's like it's something that you need to take in consideration, and you need to ask yourself and take the time to make a schedules that makes sense and that is like that you can do on the long run.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you will have like big problem in the middle, and your business plan will start to wave.
Yeah. How do you balance that going back to Europe and coming back to the US? And
Actually, for me, it's like very easy because I don't know what is jet lag.
Yeah.
So I'm like lucky enough to don't have that problem.
yeah.
And I believe it's like more like managing like the choice of your trip arrangement
Mhm.
that you do. So basically, it's like when you go back from US to Europe, it's like easier than the opposite. Because when you take the flight to go to Europe in general, it's like the end of the day over here, and you arrive early in the morning in Europe. So basically, if you can sleep in the plane, you basically have like 8 hours sleep.
Okay.
But when you come back, in general, you take the plane in the morning, and you arrive here in US in the early afternoon, and then you already have like 8 hours. It's
Yeah.
like night in Europe, and you need to still doing like all the afternoon and the night.
Yeah.
So that is like more complicated to manage.
How do you manage like communicating? Like if you're in the US, how do you manage communicating with people in Europe? Do you when you're here?
Actually, I just like schedule like time for Europe and time for US. So basically, when I'm in Europe, I schedule like all my meeting in the afternoon, European time, so morning here. And when I'm here, I'm schedule all my meeting for Europe in the morning. So
Okay.
like that, I can balance.
Yeah.
And after, depending on the time of the year, when it's like sometimes stuff that need to be managed, but in different schedule, at that time I change like my sleeping habit. So I sleep like very little at night, and I do nap during the day.
All right.
Oh,
Makes
okay.
sense. So I had a quick question, Antoine. So about just the music industry, just 'cause I'm curious, compared to like when you in the past from when you now, I think what I hear a lot about is like quality over quantity. Do you think like the music quality and like what people put out is like lower just to constantly push out things
Oh yeah.
to do that, and the difference really is marketing compared to what you've seen
Oh
in the
yeah.
past?
Music industry right now, it's all about marketing.
Right. Okay.
It's all about marketing. It's not about content. It's like, come on, when you see everybody listen music, in the
Right.
world,
Right.
you can you go on the train, on the blue line and everything. Everybody is listening music, but how many people know how to play music or
Right.
have like an idea about what is the note that is playing than what they're
Yeah.
listening?
Very little, right? Yeah.
Very little.
Yeah.
What they listen is what the radio station they want you to hear. So basically, it's like I remember like 2 years ago, I used to come over here with one of my artists from Spain, and we was here in Chicago, and we was in the traffic coming from the suburbs to 2112, and for 2 hours we was in the traffic listening radio. In 1 hour, we listened like 10 times Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
After 2 hours, my artist was able to sing the songs by memory, and he don't like it.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
But because he used to hear it like so
Right.
much. So basically, right now, what they're doing, like they do brainwash. And a lot of label, especially when they're big, they have like the money to pay the radio
Right.
to pass 10 times, 20 times my song like every day, and money talks.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's like and when you have like a lot of Instagram, a lot of social media involved in that, is like when you see like the big artists, like how much they spend like on communication and social media is like insane.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you compete with that?
I believe like you need to be very creative. So
Right.
basically, it's like I believe like video content is like right now is like the most popular content to have like viewer and everything. And I believe like you need to create like unique content that nobody else do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very complicated. It's like a lot of time. It's like very expensive. So after you need to be inventive and find out the way to do it like for very cheap.
Yeah.
So that is not really easy.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it's like a lot of opportunity, a lot of places that you can go and you can do great video and for very cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe like right now a lot of young generation, they have like a false idea about how to do things.
Mm-hmm.
They believe like they need that camera, they need that to actually be able to produce something.
Mm-hmm.
When in the end, if you have an iPhone, you can do basically whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can shoot like a video clip with an iPhone and doing a post-production at home with a basic program computer and having like a very high quality video.
Yeah.
Right.
If you want to do music, you don't need to spend like $10,000 in gears.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You can do great music just with a few apps from your iPhone.
Right.
Yeah. Actually, something that's really impressive is like, recent in current time frame, Billie Eilish. I mean, her and her brother were making music at home. I don't know if you guys have ever watched any of like the documentaries about them now, and she's blown up, but she still lives at home with her parents.
Yeah.
And like they were literally just in each other's bedrooms making music. And like I think it was like Oceans is what kicked off Billie Eilish's kind of stardom on YouTube. That was made just inside of a home.
Yeah.
Like
that's
it's
a lot
not
of
a
people
major
do.
production.
Right.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I believe that is where like creativity win over like
I see what you're
marketing.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just be creative.
Mhm.
Do things different than everybody else, and that's it. After, who cares about like that you did that like in the $1 million studio or you did that in your bathroom?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nobody. You know what? It's important is like how you connect with people.
Right.
Because basically, when you bring like something to the people what they want is like to have like a relationship with what you bring to them.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter if it's music, if it's the brand, if it's anything.
Yeah.
You need to build like a way that you communicate with the people. That is where the people they feel good about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When they feel connected to what you're doing.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. How are you dealing with that? Are you still doubtful at all in your current like music label? I know you're pretty confident in the strategy of like, oh, okay, this is how I need to market my artists and things like that. But do you ever have any like worries about whether or not things would?
I guess my worry is like maybe somebody will have like a better idea than me.
Yeah.
And after that is like I believe like when you work with artists, I believe like is the artist will be able to follow the plan.
Right.
I see. Yeah.
That is like the main things, because I believe like today is like artists like you come to them with a plan, they're like very agree in the beginning, but after is like a plan to make that happen. That don't do that from one day to the next day.
Yeah.
That takes like several time. So it's like in the long run, is the artist will have like the commitment to do it.
Mhm.
That I believe like is the fear that any manager or any record label can have, especially if you start to invest money on the artist. So basically that is why I decided to create like that academy and the online store and everything, because it's like I believe if I take like an artist on my record label and I just like release his music like any other label do and spending like just like a few bucks on marketing, is like how I will grow up my artist.
Right.
Yeah.
And for me, if I see like, okay, I manage an artist, so managing an artist is taking basically like 20% of what he's making. If I do the booking for him, I will take like 15% of each gig he will do. So basically it's like when I take like an artist, my goal is to raise his price.
Right.
Yeah.
That is where the money happen.
Yes.
So basically, if I don't inject money on my artist, how I will raise him.
Yeah.
So It's like basically you need to invest money on marketing to raise your artist.
Right.
Like that he become big, and when he start like because an artist that is making like let's see like $1,000 a gig, it's not bad. An artist if he do like 10 gigs like that, it's 10,000 a month. He will be like very happy. But for me as a record label and manager, it's like okay, 10,000 a month. I take like 20%. Is like only $2,000. But I have like all the expense, all the marketing, all the staff. Booking the same is like I take like 15%. Is like 1,500.
Yeah.
So how I pay the people that need to book, do the reservation, the hotel, follow up, and everything is like so. It's really difficult. So you can have like the plan like that, but in that case, you will need to have like 100 artists in your record label.
Yeah.
But if you have 100 artists in your record label, you will need to have like a big amount of people working to manage that.
Yeah.
So in the end of the day, you don't will make more money. You will look bigger in the market, but you will not make more money. For me, I believe I prefer to work with only a few artists, but really push them to raise and getting like big gig where they can make like 10,000 a gig.
Yeah.
Because if they do 10 gigs at 10,000, it's like 20,000 in my pocket. Now we're talking about money that I can manage and I can help to grow my record label.
Yeah. Has your connections kind of during your DJ days helped with getting them to be able to push them up?
Yeah.
Getting them right gigs. What? Yeah.
That actually that helped to negotiate, I believe, but that didn't give you like especially like the opportunity to get more gig. I believe more gig, it's all a question of social media.
Okay.
Basically, it's like an artist, like the price that he will have in the market will depend like really on how big it is in the social media today.
Okay.
And that is like really hard because basically in the social media, if you want to be very big, it's like, are you very unique and you do something that nobody else do as an artist?
Yeah.
Or you put like a lot of money on marketing on social media.
Yeah.
So most of the artists, they don't have like, especially the upcoming, they don't have like already like an identity built. So they're like polishing themselves. So basically, they're still like very influenced by other artists they like.
Yeah.
So they're not like already like their own self. So they need time to get that.
Okay.
So until they get to that point, you need to invest money on marketing.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's like the plan is like how many times the artist will follow the plan, and will have that the time to break even with your money. So that is like the hard part of the strategy with a record label.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's like I can be wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's not like you're not working with a product. Even if when you do the business plan for the artist, it become a product, it become a brand.
Yeah.
But actually, it's a living brand. So basically, it's very exciting because when you find a new artist that come from nothing and you bring him like to getting like $500,000 gig is like very like something big, and you feel good about like create that.
Yeah.
But in the same time, you're taking a big risk because what if you crash in the middle of the push up and you lose all the money that you invest?
Yeah.
You know? So that I believe like it's like always like I believe for great reward, more you want to reward, more you want to achieve, bigger is your goal. Bigger is like the stress and the risk that how much you will be afraid. You know, so basically it's like your anxiety is like proportional to what is your goal. So if you want to achieve like doing like 100K a year, you know, I believe like it's much more manageable, the stress and all the mistake that you can do than when you're looking to make like millions. when you're looking to make millions and to build like a $50 million dollar company, I believe like the risk and the anxiety and all the aspects, all the risks that you need to take are very proportional about what is the goal.
Yeah.
So in general, when you want to build like a big company that will be like $50 million, you know, actually you will take big risk.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you will not reach your goal.
Yeah.
But big risk is like, that means
Lots of anxiety.
is no solution up there that tell you one method and you will be successful. You need to do your own homework, and then after you need to work hard to get it. So it's like really complicated to manage that and to deal with your doubt. Because you know, it's like sometimes that you can wake up in the morning and you say, damn, where I put myself in.
Yeah.
I will see at the end of the year or whatever, you know, or how I will deal. I see like my cash flow coming down and everything, and it's like I will not make it like next month, you know. And it's like you don't, and just last minute is like you get like the meeting that changed your life, and you get like that investor that came and save you, you know, and you keep going, you know, and you say, okay, I did a little mistake, I get like a little bit too crazy on that, but now I'm like backing up, and now I need to go back on the track, you know, and but it's always like I believe terrorizing. It's like really like you need to believe on yourself. You need to believe on what you do. If you don't do, you will not succeed.
No,
because you know, you need to accept that you can fail, and you need to learn how to deal with your failure. Because I believe like in failure is not everybody see failure like something like very negative, but I believe it's like it's something very positive in the failure. Is like that you learn.
Yes.
You can always learn
So
from failure.
if you can learn from your failure and you can commit to don't do it again, then is where you go like in the front. And you can keep going.
Something that I found interesting about you is when you were talking about the Bitcoin thing, I realized like there's a big part of you, there's a humility to it, because you said that the success from the Bitcoin stuff is not you. You just said you felt lucky, and then it wasn't your own success. But I think a lot of people who kind of accidentally hit success, they'll say that, oh, it was because I was smart enough to know that industry.
No,
so I think it's interesting.
I don't believe so, and I don't believe that you can. I don't believe like nobody can bring like, oh, it's because of me that I'm successful. When you're successful, it's just like a great amount of accidents coming, happy accident coming around it. Then after, if you become successful, I believe like the result is like your commitment about your engagement. So basically, it's like when I start like the Bitcoin industry, when you buy machine, basically you buy machine, and now I'm like, in the beginning I was doing that like a hobby. Now that become like a business, and basically now when you see the main strategy about Bitcoins is the price of the electricity. So when you become big enough, what you do is like you buy electricity in advance. But electricity is not something that you can store. Actually, maybe you can store that with Tesla battery right now for you for your house. But when you have like a data center, you cannot like spend money on battery storage. That your business plan will not work. It's too expensive. So basically, you buy electricity to provider, and you commit yourself to buy like a certain amount of electricity. Then you buy your machine, you put your machine to work. So what happened when the Bitcoin crash? what you will do, you will you will stop your machine because your machine don't make
Right.
enough money, or you will continue to run the machine because you already pay for the electricity. So I believe in that case, you need to really believe like in what you do, because it's like when you get to a certain point where it's become really a business, you commit yourself to buy a machine that you need to break even with, and you already prepay for your electricity, or at least you get a contract for a certain amount.
Yeah.
So doesn't matter if you use that electricity or not, you will need to pay for it.
Yeah.
So at that point, you need to really believe on what you do, and to be sure that will go good, that will go bad, you don't know, because nobody know about that. But you need to be like committed to go like to the end of what you started.
Yeah.
And I believe that is what makes like you successful if you don't make the wrong decision.
Yeah.
But the wrong decision is not something that is something very personal. It's like something it's more about your belief, because a lot of people will tell you like, oh no, Bitcoin, I don't want to invest in that, and blah blah blah. You know, and me, I started in 2010. I used to make a lot of money with that, so it's like I cannot be not believe on that.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But in the same times, when you see the crash coming, there you believe you need to be very strong,
Right.
because there is where you can misunderstand your opportunity and get the opposite result of success.
Yeah.
Because if you stop your machine, you're not producing Bitcoin anymore, but you're still paying your electricity, and you don't break even with your machine in the same times. So if you stop like too much, it's like after can you will be able to start your machine again
Yeah.
and go back on the track?
Yeah.
But how you make the
Yeah,
decision about
exactly,
okay,
yeah.
now I'm committed and I will lose money for like 6 months.
Yeah.
It's hard to make
Yeah,
that
it's tough,
decision.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you know that you losing money.
Right.
So basically, it's like when the Bitcoin went to 19,000 something. You know,
Yeah, I remember that.
I used to buy like a lot of machine and everything, and after that crashed to 3,000.
Yeah.
And that stayed like that for like between 6 or 8 months. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
And that machine, I was losing money with that machine for all that months.
Yeah.
So it was hard. But in the end, I went through. And now that the Bitcoin is back, so I lose money in the time that I was like producing that Bitcoins. But in the same times, when the Bitcoin will go up, the money I will lost, I will getting back on that money.
Yeah.
It's just like in the moment you lose money.
Right.
Yeah.
But you need to believe, you know? And that after is like, I don't think that it's something that have something to do with me. It's just like about how I do business and how I commit with my business.
How do you end up believing?
I believe like when you feel that you will fail and the system back you up
Yeah.
because the price go up, it's like you need to believe on something.
Yeah.
So basically we're talking about like a system of money that is not controlled by any government and any bank.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And every hacker in the world is working on how they can hack the system.
Yeah.
And you will tell me that in 11 years that the Bitcoin exists, nobody could.
Yeah.
So I believe that makes me like believe that it's like something good on it.
Yeah. Oh, I meant like how do you believe in yourself and that you're making the right decisions when, like for example, even with the record label, like how do you believe?
I don't believe I make the right decision. I just like believe that I need to commit with my decision.
Okay. Yeah.
That is really different. The way you feel that you did the right decision is when you achieve success.
Okay.
Right.
When you reach your goal, then you can say, okay, I was right to believe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But
think-
when you take the decision, it's just like an opportunity. Your own analysis of the opportunity that make you take a decision.
Yeah.
So after it's like you need to believe you instant, or that I don't think that is like the right way to do the business, or you believe you knowledge.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like your knowledge that is what will help you to take a decision the best that you can.
Yeah.
But after, it's not like 100% guarantee that you do the right choice.
Yeah.
It's just like the more knowledge that you will have on the subject, on what is the decision that you will take, less probability you will have to fail.
That makes sense.
So everything is like, I was very good on mathematics at school.
All right.
And probability, I believe that's what can predict like 99% of a business. So basically, it's like if you take your knowledge and you do your math and you do your probability, it's like you will have like a good picture about what's going on and what is the possibility. Then after, maybe you find like a mathematical solution that nobody thinks before, and that's what makes you believe.
Yeah.
But that is your own decision. After, if you get success, then you can say like, okay, I was right to take that decision. But I believe like you need to be like really like humble about your success in life, because success is not a guarantee for the future.
Yeah.
It's just like an achievement for the moment of time in your life.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
So I believe like anytime you start like a new business or you start like new things, you need to put yourself, you need to challenge yourself again. You need to upgrade yourself, learn, make sure that you understand what you're doing, because it's not because you were successful one time that you will be successful the next time.
Yeah. Oh, I think that I really, really like that, and I think we can close on that.
Yeah.
Success is just that achievement in that moment in life, and I really, really enjoy it. Yeah, and then
appreciate it.
So where can our listeners kind of find you? Either social media, websites,
email, anything.
Yeah,
anything that you want to plug.
They can go like to mikrokosmic.com. That is our website that will be launched like in a few weeks right now, and then after in YouTube like by the end of March we will start like a few production that will come up, but everything will be linked up on social media.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and again, thanks for listening. This is the Alone and So Very Afraid podcast, and today we had Antoine from Mikrokosmic record label.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Thanks for thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.